Hi, I'm Brendan. This is Chelsea. That guy over there is Tim. You're watching Life on Film. Today we're going to be discussing the movie The Tall Man.
I saw him 2 times. Right there, like he was trying to avoid the bridge.
There was nothing next on the outside news car.
Talking about the tall man?
No, that's a myth. There's no tall man.
He exists.
It's not the boogeyman and the devil or any of that old wives' tale crap.
The Tall Man is a film set in a small town in the American Northwest, which is beset by some very serious social and economic hardships. Basically, there's also something else very mysterious going on in this town. There is someone who the locals call the Tall Man who is kidnapping young children, or so it seems. Tim, Chelsea, what did you think of The Tall Man?
Well, there was lots of twists and turns in The Tall Man, I must say that. It's definitely gives you a few surprises, and I do like it when a director surprises me with a shift in direction or a changing my expectations of the film.
Chelsea, had you seen this before?
No, I hadn't, and I had no idea of what it was going to be about when I watched it. So kind of for the first half I was kind of wondering what I'm getting into. Is this a horror film? Is this a what? But it was really nice to kind of, for once, watch a film that's unpredictable, because you don't actually come across that very often these days. So yeah, I really enjoyed the unpredictability of the whole thing.
The trailer appears as if it's a horror film. Who is the Tall Man? Why is he? What nefarious purposes does he want these children for? And even the way the film starts. But by the end of it, this has become a film about some profoundly important social issues, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely the idea of are certain parents worthy of children, or should the state take children off parents if it thinks that they're not doing a good enough job. That was one of the strong themes that comes out. Also, I suppose metaphorically, it seems that some of the themes are a metaphor for abortion, about for the good of the parent, for the good of the child, especially for the economic good. Should this human being not be brought into the world, or at least taken from the world?
Well, you get that sense, don't you, Chelsea, at the end of the movie with the mother, the older mother who's putting out the washing, and quite there's this great sadness, despite her failings as a mum, despite the social hardships and the bum of a boyfriend or a husband, I'm not sure which he is, that she's got, that there is this great sadness that she's been robbed of her child. These mothers have been robbed of their children, and it seems to me there's a very clear parallel with abortion, surely.
And the daughter herself is unsure about the fact that she's gone to have a better life, but at the same time she's feeling the same tug that she should be with her own mother, and that kind of is being, as you say, robbed from them. That decision is made by someone else.
The last kid disappeared 2 months ago. Won't be long before the next one goes.
So you believe it too?
Let's talk about the ending. The ending of the film, the young daughter who wanted to be taken by the Tall Man is taken and put in a better life with a better family, lots more money and all the rest of it. But at the end, quite clearly, she's questioning whether or not she does have a better life because she's been robbed of her mother. Now, in this way, it seems the primary question of this film is, does the end justify the means? Does the good end of saving a child from poverty, from hardship, does it justify any means to actually do that? Or are there certain natural law boundaries that we should respect and not violate in our efforts to try and save children from abuse or hardship? And in that way, it's very similar. It seems it's a bit of a sister film to perhaps Gone Baby Gone, the Ben Affleck directed movie, which ends differently, doesn't it? Because in Gone Baby Gone, the child is returned to the mother.
It's an obvious moral dilemma in God Baby Gone that he has to make a decision whether to keep the child in a better life or to do the morally correct thing, I suppose, and be honest and return him to the original family. And it's not as clear in Tall Man about that moral dilemma. But it is hard to say, because when watching Gone Baby Gone, there was a massive tug for myself to think, like, where should the child be? It's not obvious that it is better for her to go back to the family. It is a hard question, that one that lots of people in our society today would argue that the children should just be taken away. But,
I think that Gone Baby Gone is less ambiguous. I think that it gives you a pretty definitive answer from the scriptwriter's perspective, at least, what the right conclusion is. We're not left feeling that the decision by Casey Affleck's character to return the child to its rightful family and its mother is a a morally bad decision. We're seen as the idea of principles triumphing over emotions almost. And I think that's the clear message from that film. Although as an audience member, definitely there can be some conflict there. I think that the tall man is a lot more ambiguous. But I think the inference and the question asked by the girl who has been taken by the tall man at the end is, does this better material life, this life of wealth and I suppose privilege in a way, is this really what I want, or do I actually crave my true natural state and the love of my family? And it doesn't answer it, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's more ambiguous.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's interesting is that the whole question of end justifies the means. This question of poverty and social hardship is very much a big abortion question as well, because it is often a primary justifier. People say, well, how could a child have a life of hardship? But as you say, Tim, the issue here is not really financial wealth, it's about love. And I think it was Mother Teresa who talked about the fact that the greatest poverty is to not be loved, to live without love. And so it's okay, it's fine. You can bring a child into this world and even be quite impoverished. Hopefully people won't, but the most important thing is the love for that child, not material goods.
And it's easy to see how our society has trouble with that, because it's embraced materialism and material wealth and consumerism and consumer goods so deeply that's penetrated our family relationships to the point where we see almost poverty as the greatest evil, and we're willing to kill to supposedly prevent it, or to at least not exacerbate it. So yeah, I think that's a great point.
Can we play together again when you get home?
I promise. Good night, David.
Alrighty, so let's wrap this puppy up. Chelsea, what do you think? How many stars would you give The Tall Man?
Well, I was actually quite surprised. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would going into it. And so I thought about it a lot afterwards, and I'd probably give it about a 3.5.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's not a bad rating. Tim?
Yeah, I'd say 3 stars. I think that I think the plot and the script and definitely the themes that come out of the film are excellent. The performances of the actors is clearly what I call a B-movie cast, or a made-for-TV movie cast, with the exclusion of the main actress there. But yeah, that kind of brings the score down a little bit, because the performances were a little bit off. But 3 stars. Okay, so we've got 3 different panellists, 3 different conclusions. I'm going to give it 4 stars. I really liked it as a movie. There were 1 or 2 little moments with the acting, but overall I think the acting is pretty good for what it is. And I think the way it handles this important question, it really does, I think, surprise you with its conclusions and the way the movie wraps up and what the movie is really all about. Just bang, it hits you like a bolt between the eyes. Oh my gosh, this is not at all what I thought it was. So I think I have to give it big kudos for probably drawing a wide audience into, perhaps, if this had just been a typical indie film about kids being kidnapped by rich people for a better life, a lot of people wouldn't have watched it. But it gave it a bit of a thriller horror twist, and that probably draws a wider audience to explore this question, which I think is probably good filmmaking in the end. So there you go, the panel have spoken. If we average it out, we're probably going to say 3.5 stars, even though that's what Tim's answer was anyway in the first place. Probably should have all just agreed with Tim. But I just would say one thing, if you're thinking about watching Gone Baby Gone as well as The Tall Man, I would say The Tall Man's probably a bit more of an accessible film, in the sense that Gone Baby Gone is very, it's pretty rough, in the sense it puts you right in the heart of an American neighbourhood with a lot of social issues, and the language is pretty full on and stuff like that. So it's pretty unflinching. Whereas The Tall Man is probably for more audience members, it's something that's a bit more accessible. So just be aware of that if you're thinking about the 2 films. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Life on Film.